that, you know. But just a lot of people have different levels of anger, and the intensity of that anger varies at what they're pissed off at. Some people are pissed off and they'll hold a sign. Some people are pissed off and don't mind swinging on a cop. You know what I mean? People are pissed, whether it's political motivated or not. Some people are just like, fuck you, dude. Excuse my French. But we have to realize, like, we're kind of speaking power's language when we say that anytime someone just freaks out and like lashes out at power, that it's a cop. I agree that a lot of the times it is, and you can spot somebody, but a lot of times it's just someone who's pissed off and is just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, and I have no, like, I mean, if you look at, like, the riots in England, I think that there were definitely elements of that were taking, like, that was power taking advantage of the situation, but that's, like, I don't have any problem with riots. I want to stress that. Yeah. Or, I mean, I have problems with it, but I understand why people riot. So, I'm not trying to argue that. I'm just saying that it's something that, as people that want to use different tactics, we need to be aware of them. That's all. Like, so, I don't...
Okay, can we move to the next action?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I'm in the violent for throwing the brick through the window, and the reason why is because I don't think anybody here would like to have somebody that felt as strongly as we do about our corporate takeover in the United States than to have somebody throw a brick through these tents. You know what I mean?
To me, there is a huge difference between throwing a brick through someone's residence and throwing a brick through a corporation that has been evicting people from their residence.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm going to be going out throwing bricks through windows. Please do not mistake that. I fully understand the tactic is what I'm saying. And I think that comparing the two as the same thing is apples and oranges. It is not the same thing. To me, let's try another action real quick. Evicting someone out of their home. Is that what kind of action would that be?
Effective for the person evicting?
Yeah, effective for who?
From what standpoint?
To the evicted.
Oh, to the evicted?
So this isn't something we're doing.
Yeah, that someone else is doing to us. What kind of action is that?
So, like, if the police were to evict my encampment?
Yes, if the police were to evict our encampment, what kind of action would that be?
That would be violent because we're a non-violent.
I thought we just defined violent as being harm to a person.
That is harm.
They do harm.
They will sit there and drag you down steps and hurt you. Handcuffs hurt. That would be.
There's a person who works in that office.
It hurts
They're
to be
just a
removed
person
from your
who
home
works
too.
They're just a pawn in the game.
What if they get hit by the brick? You know?
Exactly. Then they were.
Yeah, but if someone claps handcuffs on your wrists and tightens them up, that hurts. That's violence.
Well, that's not necessarily.
I still got
handcuffs.
Non-effective gun.
They're not
They
going
would have to evict.
One at a time, please.
I actually have a question. Are they forcibly evicting us, or are they just asking us to leave?
What's the difference?
I'm going to say forcibly evicting because if everyone here was asked to leave, I'm pretty sure most everyone here is going to stay. Am I safe in that assumption? Can I get a consensus? Okay. So yeah, it would be forcible. Would someone like to... everyone pretty much considers it violent. Someone ineffective. I'm sorry, this is ineffective, my bad. How could someone speak up on how that is an ineffective action on their part?
Yeah, because if they throw us out, we're just going to come back. We're going to come back somewhere else and even harder. So it's not that easy, you know?
Yeah. I agree. Now, a non-effective action, or an effective action on their part.
I think it would be an effective action in the fact that it would escalate things to a level that, it would escalate. So it would be effective, actually, on the opposing side. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense, but at the same time, we just had arrests this week, and nothing got escalated.
That's not true. Within 2 hours of us posting on the website, the city called the occupation and called an emergency meeting. So I would call that very effective.
Right, but you said escalated. How was that? How was that an escalation?
Well, they were evicted. They no longer had a place, but they had the solidarity and the coverage.
Brings in more
Put the
support.
pressure on the city so that they came back to the table where
Brings
before
us
they
more
weren't even at the table. So it made it effective.
Okay. No, I agree that I can see both sides of that, definitely. Jessica, you're neutral in this. Can we hear why you're neutral?
Sarah changed my mind whenever she said that. Of course, they got a permit or whatever. So
We can't hear you.
I was over there in between the violent and non-violent because people can easily be like, "Oh, we're not going nowhere. We'll do the bricks and all that stuff or whatever, punch cops, whatever. It could be violent or it could not be because I'd be peacefully escape or something." But it is effective because they have notice now over there in Mobile, whereas they did not have.
Thank you.
Okay. And that was actually just like a sidebar action, so we're going to move on. We heard one from each view. The next action would be sneaking up to the roof of a building and dropping a huge banner. I think we're pretty close to having consensus that that's an okay action in this part. But we have one gentleman that is finding that violent. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, you're neutral?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just don't see what that would do, what good that would do. Unless it's like kind of like a last resort thing, you know. I think it's kind of trampling on their over or boundaries of.
Okay, can I have one person explain why they feel that it is effective?
I feel it's effective because this is what needs to happen. I mean, people need to see it. We need to get the message across. If we get the message across, more people will come, and more we build it, they will come. So.
Yeah. Can I ask one question to the group though? Why is it that when we're talking about signs, everybody's standing over there and non-effective, but then when we're talking about banners, it's effective? What's the difference?
Because it's a more radical version of a sign. We're not holding the sign, building it. The building holds
Which shows your inherited
That's
trash.
a radical step.
Now, also keep in mind that that is an illegal action. That it is illegal. That is trespassing on corporate property.
Well, we didn't necessarily say we were dropping it from a corporate building. We just said building. So it could be government, it could be private.
Would that change people's opinions if it now was a banner drop on a bank or a federal building?
We still think it's effective.
Okay. Nick, are you just videotaping or are you... Okay. I didn't know if you were non-effective. Kind of close to being violent. Yeah. Okay. The next one I'm going to do is a line of police form down the street.
Wait, what?
A line of police, riot gear police, form across the street and are heading your way, and a group of protesters start grabbing dumpsters and whatnot and pulling them into the street to form a blockade. What kind of action would that be? Well, that's why I saved it for later on. You know? Oh, did I forget to mention the questions get harder? I'm sorry.
I have to agree the middle. I'll say
Okay.
it's effective.
I would like to hear first off from the violent, ineffective group.
I would say it's violent, ineffective. I would say it's violent if riot gear police are getting ready to attack and commit violence against us. I would say that's violence.
Okay, but the scenario is on our action of blockading the road to keep them from getting to the protesters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the event as a whole.
Yeah.
It could trigger violence.
It could trigger
Oh,
violence. That's why
could
it's
trigger them
ineffective.
too.
Yes, it can trigger violence.
It could end up being violent.
It could
Okay.
It is
showing up
nonviolent
at
action.
Adam?
showing up at riot
It's
gear.
ineffective.
One at a time, please. One at a time. Adam is going to speak on behalf of the non-violent affected.
I think riot gear is pretty violent.
Well, obviously the cops, if they're wearing riot gear, are coming here with the intention to do us harm. That's given. So if we're blockading them, it's actually non-violent because we are protecting ourselves without harming them by keeping them away from us to give us time for the non-arrestable protesters.
So do you think it would be
presumably to escape.
effective? Yeah.
It would be effective because it would give the non-arrestables time to escape.
Right now, time to escape.
So you're protecting your people.
I just don't see it as being very much protection.
Okay. Would you like to speak on that?
Yes, if police were to come here, they have to be in full gear anyway to be prepared for any event. You can't automatically assume that they're coming here with an intent to harm us. And by us going towards them, no matter if it's non-violent or not, they may think that we're going to take it to the next
Not
level.
going towards them.
They weren't violent.
If
Just covering,
if we're
just
going to
making
shoot
a
dumpsters
barrier.
and stuff, it's
They weren't
still.
riot gear in the field. They came in to see
One thing you also have to remember, though, if you let them just go ahead and get set up, then we're already flanked, and when they actually decide to initiate whatever they're going to do, then we're just already in a pin ready to go.
So it's ineffective.
Well, it's ineffective if we don't do anything to prevent them from coming. If we just sit here and let
Well,
them
then
come in the
prevention
riot
should be
gear and
done
surround
before it
us,
even happens.
then
If it's when they're on the
Well,
way.
in that rationale, we should already be setting up
Right.
blockades.
Exactly.
if we're worried about that, we'd have the warning on when they're going to do that. We'd have that 24-hour notice, and then we start probably initiating something
Well,
like that.
we have the safety team that patrols. They're going to see.
We'll control wide enough to see people coming down the road. They'll set up an hour before they come. Yeah, that's what all the other cities do. They're riot cops standing around for
Ian?
an hour.
Yeah, I'd like to say that if we set up this barricade, it's making the cops work harder, drawing more attention to the scene, and they have to watch what's going to happen to us. So I say it's very effective.
Gives more time for news to get here.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah. That increases the effectiveness.
Okay. Then I'm just going to add one little thing. Before the barricades go up, tear gas is fired.
Are we talking about our part or the cops' part now?
Well, we're not firing tear gas.
Yeah,
No.
So on their part,
When the canister lands, we can throw it back.
better have some thick gloves on.
Now,
Yeah, I got my gloves.
now I want to keep in
I'll send my
mind
gas mask,
that we're not asking if the police are being violent. We're asking if us barricading the road after they shoot tear gas is violent.
I thought you were talking.
Sir,
Starting to attack us.
I got a question for y'all, man. Who down here is actually prepared for violence with the police?
We've already been
we've actually got a handful of people in this group that have already been arrested this week.
That's part of what the workshop's about, getting everybody ready. Dealing with scenarios.
I don't know, man. I definitely support what y'all are doing, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about color, man. It's about freedom, dog.
It is about freedom.
I hate to see bad stuff happen, man. You know what I mean? Because they take advantage of unarmed civilians, you know, and they'll beat us down.
But that's why we have media. Media will help us out.
Grab the dude in Mobile. He carried, dragged right off the stairs.
Okay, back to the workshop. Now, after the tear gas was fired and we blockaded the roads, we then set the dumpsters on fire. They had shot tear gas. It's the same scenario. They've shot it because everyone seemed to agree it was okay to block the roads after tear gas was fired. Now we've blockaded the roads and we have set the dumpsters on fire. The dumpsters are now on fire. Tear gas is coming in.
Shot tear gas. This is after the fact.
This is after the
They've
fact
started
that they...
making an offensive attack.
Well, I don't understand.
Okay, can I hear why someone thinks it's ineffective?
Well, first of all, setting the dumpsters on fire, I understand the feel on the dumpsters on fire, and I guess locking the tear gas, that's what you're saying, it's cool, but understand, that's going to let them know, oh, shoot, we can set the dumpsters on fire, they're going to go grab something, a stick in there, throw it back, we got to protect yourself, that's what they're thinking. We may not think that, they're thinking, hey, we're gonna
They're
fight
thinking that
back
we're
with
getting
fire.
violent.
That's not what we're trying to do. We already
Yeah,
have fire
that-
with the
it is
sign.
perceived as violence on their part. I just want to add one bit of information to it. Would it help anyone to know that the carbon released off fire neutralizes tear gas?
Yes. And that's what I said. And I know you're blocking that, but that's not what they're thinking. I'm sorry. Come on, cops. Come on, come on, cops. Cops are cops.
Well, but if they've already shot,
And they're gonna
if
straight
they've
up be
already
like,
shot tear gas, then it's on. It's my view.
Right.
But it's like Donkey Kong. It's.
And we're protecting ourselves. I feel you. I feel you.
But you find it ineffective. And I respect that.
I do
I fully
because they already threw the tear gas. You understand? Okay, they're gonna do whatever they want to do. But when we start them dumpsters on fire, check this out. We do that, they're taking it to a whole new level. I'm serious. They're already done, but they're gonna take it to a whole new level, and they're gonna bring people down here and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's not."
We got a point.
That's what big bad grounds might be starting.
We're talking about the dumpsters on fire thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Like in Oakland, you probably saw the videos where they did that, but that's a lot of people probably do it because I think it looks cool. There's a lot of people that do that when there's a massive amount of tear gas in the air that is harming people. If you light a big fire, it burns it up. And it's weird how people equate fire with violence. The same people that will say that lighting a fire in the middle of the street to keep tear gas away is violence will sit there and praise war, which is fire. They will sit there and give praise to the war machine. But when it's a bunch of poor youths or people on the streets lighting a fire to keep people from being harmed, all of a sudden these are violent anarchists. Think about this. Come on. It's not violent.
That's not what they're thinking. That's not what they're thinking. I understand. I respect that. And I respect it 100.
Adam?
Right. No, lighting fires in the street is definitely violence, but it's also effective. It's violence because it has potential to do harm, as much as the shooting of tear gas has potential to do harm to us. That is an act of retaliation against them, as much as it protects us. So it is an act of violence, but it's effective because it protects us.
But I think potential and the subject are
I think it's much less violent than throwing tear gas at people. If you've ever been tear gassed, it's way worse than being away from fire.
Lighting
So,
a fire.
I mean, we're not lighting cops on fire.
I feel like we're blurring potential and subject. Because they're different. Potential is here, subject is here. It hasn't yet to happen with this potential.
And that's one of the things this exercise is designed to spark.
We all realize what they think.
What do we consider violence?
We're trying to judge what we consider. But we're not here. But we're not here to. This grid is not for what they think. The grid is for what we think. It's for our conversation between us.
At this point, does anyone have an action that they're curious about where people will move? And now I will step aside and I'm going to join in on moving where I
have one.
I think things are.
I have one.
One I think everyone, or at least a few people would like, is the flags.
No, that's not an action.
It's not an action.
Is it? What consequences
That'll
does it
come
have?
up at the GA.
I thought we were going to do that with this.
No.
This is political actions. and
Workshop. This is a workshop. This isn't a GA.
Flag is going to be a non-violent, either effective.
I got a question.
We're going to do that.
I really don't want to take it there.
We already did something. I got one. I got one.
Yeah, he goes first.
A flash mob.
What's the flash mob doing? Yeah. You can have a flash mob break through people's windows. You can have a flash mob beat someone up.
A non-violent flash mob.
Well, then it's obviously
Everybody shows up. Flash mob, there are a whole bunch of people around the street and start dancing.
Awesome.
Okay, who thinks that's ineffective? I want to hear from someone who says ineffective.
Mike check.
That's ineffective.
Ineffective is on this side. Effective is on that side. Okay, Ian, why is the flash mob ineffective?
how is dancing going to do anything? I mean, you're going to run out in the middle of the street and start dancing? I mean, flash mobs come out there, do the dance, to run off. You don't get to talk to people. You don't do anything like that. You just run out there and dance and run away.
Well, see, I think it's effective.
Hold on, right here.
That was almost my point. Flash mobs can do a lot of things, and like, what were we doing? Going somewhere and holding a bunch of signs real quick, or like
Well, it's got to be something that's educational. It depends on the nature of the flash mob. Absolutely.
Well, flash mob,
you
we need
left
to
it
be
very ambiguous.
That's what I do.
We need to be unified. We need
that's
to have
the
all the
good thing
same
about
clothes,
this is-
right? If we're going to be a flash mob, right? We need to all have the same clothes. That way, it lets us know, let them know that we're a part of the whole organization, right? Not the same clothes. I'm talking about the same.
Yeah, like you were saying, going in somewhere dancing could be effective because there might be some dancers in there that are like, where the fuck are these kids coming from? And it's a spectacle, so anytime there's a spectacle, people are like, whoa, cool. But if you walk in somewhere with a marching band and you have people chanting for 5 minutes and then make your way out, that's effective.
Well, see, okay, I'll get with that.
Josh, did you have something to say?
I'm in the middle because I think it's perhaps an effective tactic. I don't think it's not necessarily any more effective than regular protest. And it just varies. I think there's also something to be said for the fact that things like flash mobs are a fad, and they're easily written off, and so that's something to be considered if you're planning an action, like how it will be interpreted by the public at large.
I thought we can take advantage of that, though.
Andy.
I'm pretty much stand with him. I'm only a little bit to this side because I haven't, like, I guess they could be effective. I haven't seen them be effective is my thing, and I also agree with the fad idea.
There was actually one that the gay and lesbian community did on Target. That was extremely effective. It was extremely effective.
Target ain't people.
And entertaining. It was very entertaining.
Why they targeted Target?
Maybe the two are related.
Hold on, guys. It was
technically supposed to be a flash mob. We were all supposed to show up at that park at once. Bam. I think that was effective.
Building off that, I think the tactic of organizing through digital media, like to get together all at once, I think that can be very effective. And so I don't want to, if that aspect of a flash mob I think has been used very effectively recently, like for good and bad, whether it's like people organizing to loot shit or people organizing to get together in Egypt or whatever through Twitter. So I think that's something to be considered.
Hey, Bill, what do you think?
I think that more or less they can be effective, non-effective. They're effective if you can actually get people organized and the time to actually sit down and actually do the thing. But we attempted it last time and we had about 2 days or only 24 hours to do it. And obviously it never happened. And unless you really get a passionate group of people for the flash mob, and at least I would say like 20 people plus, it's not worth doing. It's not going to be effective if you only have 4 or 5 people doing it.
True that.
That's why the gay and lesbian community rocks.
Sandy?
Because they rule that shit.
I feel like it could be a very effective way of expressing yourselves, very creative way, and it may be a fad, but I think it is a good way to engage in dialogue with people and to get attention. So I believe it can be very effective, especially if you're writing your own stuff, if it's specifically pertains to what message you're trying to convey.
Okay, I'm done. Who wants to do another scenario?
What does everybody think about carrying cans of spray paint to spray on riot shield with the police?
Like on their helmets where they can't see you?
Yeah, on their helmets or on their shields, yeah. You spray paint them so they can't see what they're doing.
I already have a point of interest on this one.
Has anyone ever seen Officer Bubbles?
I think so.
Officer Bubbles? There was this black officer during the GDP thing, I think it was, and this girl was blowing bubbles. And the bubbles were floating by the police officer and popping on his arms and this, that, the other.
Violence!
The cop said if that bubble touches me, it's going to be assault, and you will be under arrest for assault with a bubble. And so I would imagine spray cans, since they have a lot of toxins and you can spray them in the eyes, will definitely be an automatic smackdown with a nightstick. So that's one thing I would just like to say before anyone really moves on, because people are getting arrested for bubbles.
Well, I think you're going to have a point of conflict before that happens. You're not just going to see a guy walk up and be like, "Dah!"
If you're at the point where you're like blocking police's vision through spray paint, you're already engaged in like fighting with the police.
Yeah, there's already conflict.
And you're already like, if you you can assault a cop by saying, "I don't want to give you my ID." Like, really, you can do. There's nothing that, like, if a cop says you assault them, that's all.
Jenny, did you have something to say?
Yeah, the bubbles thing I think is a bit ridiculous, but spray paint directly, in the direction, that is an individual. It's being perpetrated against. I mean, like a window is a window; it's an inanimate object. But when you're doing it to a person, whether it be the police, I'm going to take it as a violent act if somebody sprays me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay? I mean.
We were talking about spray painting shield, glasses, right? We're not we're not physically harming them.
Not on their skin, not on their eyeball.
We're making it so they have to take off a helmet to see us, right? We're not talking about like stabbing them in the neck or pulling their eyes out or blinding them. Potentially, because if you spray paint someone in the eyes, I guess there's the risk of that. So maybe I should move closer.
Yeah, I mean, it may be an effective violence.
Right here.
Permanently, but we're talking
Hey,
about
what's your name? Your name is Chris, right?
If it's invading
What's your name?
somebody's space, I would
Corey.
consider it
I'm Nick.
an act of aggression or
Hey, Corey has something to say. He has his hand up.
Something in the Wall Street that Occupy Wall Street about use of force. I mean, does anybody talk about use of force? I taught use of force.
I think we should talk more about use of force.
Well, I can answer that.
I can tell you how people will react.
No,
regardless of what agency they're in.
actually, this is a non-violent protest, but this is an exercise that is outside of the realm of the Occupy Wall Street movement. We're just seeing where everyone here stands on different types of actions that have and could possibly take place in the future.
Right.
But that they're all hypotheticals. None of this is. This is what we think needs to go down in any way, shape, or form. That they're hypotheticals, just so we as a community can see where we all stand together.
Corey, right there.
And now, Corey.
I'm all about tagging shit and blah blah blah, but you turn a spray paint cannons towards someone's face, that's pretty hostile.
Yeah.
Well, when you're talking about a riot cop, they have full face shield, and then a shield that has goggles, a full face shield, and then a shield with a glass.
You're still
piece.
attacking. It's like spray painting a man attack.
There is in no way whatsoever
And a
spray
different
paint could get in their eyes.
It's an attack within their 2-foot space.
And if they're beating people, I'm not concerned about their eyes.
But you're talking about a different scenario. Then you're engaging in violence already. But it's still
All right,
violent.
guys, can I move on to the next question?
Can I just say to that? I think it's the same thing as if someone's coming up and bugging you, and you have a cup of water in your hand, and you throw it in their face and run away. Like it's slightly different, but I think it's it's comparable. I don't think we're not talking about going and like if the police are shielded up, they're ready to come attack us, and so we're talking about we're not talking about running into the police on their house and like spray painting their faces,
So you're saying
or even
self-defense.
like that.
So you're claiming self-defense?
I think it's a form of self-defense in this sense.
But
and I think it's an effective form, and that's
would
why
it be a
I'm
violent act or self-defense?
I think it's
I
effective.
mean, if it's still an act of aggression.
I don't think it's violent. I'm closer to non-violent, or closer to violence than I am to pure non-violence.
I think it's relative because if they're macing us and like that act, we don't have goggles and shit. They're macing. They're trying to hit us in the face with this shit, and we're just trying to black out their shields. I think it's all relative. It's like they're swinging riot batons. If we just want to stop them from being able to see where they're swinging these riot batons, it's totally different. And you know what? Honestly, if there's a big group of people beating my friends with riot batons, no skin off my nose if any one of them gets spray paint in their eyes. Which they probably even won't.
I'm on the borderline.
But would you consider that violence or non-violence? I mean, you have to,
Hey guys, can we move on to the next subject?
justification is a different
All right, where do we stand on stockpiling things like bricks and Molotovs in readiness for violence, but not using them?
Just kidding. Do they know about it?
Yeah. I'm gonna come over here.
I'm gonna stop recording now.